Hello, I'm Alex Milne and welcome to Oddballs, where we look at some of the alternative sports going on in South London. Now, we're all clued up about the likes of football, cricket and rugby, but how much do you know about floorball, roller skiing and croquet? My guess, not very much. Our reporters went out to various locations in South London to try out the sports to varying levels of success. Without further ado, let's crack on and start with floorball, a game I don't know anything about. Will Beckman, tell us more.
Thank you, Alex. We've come to the Academy Sports Centre in Royal Oak, Westminster to answer an age-old question. What sport is more successful in Britain than it is in Italy, Argentina, Brazil and Portugal, but less successful than it is in Latvia, Estonia, Kenya and Singapore? Well, the answer is, of course, floorball.
Floorball was introduced in Sweden in the 1970s and is now practiced in 72 countries. To find out how you can get into the sport and what makes it different from conventional hockey, we visited the UK's reigning champions, the London Sharks.
I was kind of wandering around the sports fair at uni first year, wanted to pick up ice hockey but couldn't really afford it at the time, and I thought, oh, this looks kind of like something that's quite similar and something that maybe I could try. And so it's much less contact, so as you can see no one here is wearing any kind of protective equipment, so there's no kind of like rough and ready kind of ice hockey style play. Otherwise the rules are pretty similar to this. Similar to ice hockey and kind of basketball and the American kind of sports, you play it in kind of rolling subs, so when you're on the court you're supposed to like go maximum like 100% and then for the short time you're on there, and then you kind of get a bit of a break afterwards.
Well, floorball is still quite physical, but it's no actual tackling, and you know, like it's very fast, but it's much gentler. You need a pair of shoes, you need a stick. A stick you can borrow from the club and give it a go and see if you like it or not. It's very difficult in the beginning. Don't get me wrong. It's stick handling. You know, it's playing golf. It's like swings, but we play. It's a little bit like land hockey, but it's a different technique. And it's a whole ball, and the stick looks like that, you know, so it's very different. The UK has a very good approach. It's very serious about the series, you know, we do the league games and stuff, so it's been really good. I mean, I think it's 700 licensed players at the moment.
Interestingly, when I joined Sharks 3 years ago, and we had definitely bigger numbers back then. There could be 40 players on a good Saturday, and now there's maybe 20, 25, and we've actually got more players from England, so the reason is EU players slowly disappearing.
To find out if the Sharks live up to their fierce reputation, we sent Kieran and Kishan in to cut their teeth, but not before Kieran had revealed his party trick.
Let's go. Let's do this.
Here's Kish's highlights. Running down the wing, like lightning. Great stuff there.
Kieran fared slightly better, but the celebration deserved more praise than the assist.
I take issue with that, Kish. That block shot was definitely intentional.
It's so low barrier to entry that you get very mixed group of people, and I guess that's why it's so popular. In the big countries, in the ice hockey nations, really, it's a big sport in schools because it's so cheap. The basic equipment is just any pair of indoor shoes and some kind of stick. So in here you get a mixed group of people, you get loads of people trying it for 1, 2, 3 times, maybe never coming again, or they stick with it, bring their friends along. Which I think that's fun part, people enjoying it from the first moments. It's important you do something sports related on your free time to stay fit, and a lot of people go to gym just because they think gym is the only option. This is fun, so this is something you have a higher chance of actually coming back to week after week.
I think you had probably the better of the game. I think.
Well, I'm not so sure.
Well, you want to claim an assist.
I'm going to claim an assist.
I mean,
I'm going to claim an assist.
I don't know what video replays would make of that, but I
well, hey, there's no VAR here, so. No. But it was great fun, right? It's such a good sport to play.
Definitely, and I think you don't quite appreciate the sort of physicality involved with it until you're actually getting stuck in.
So there you have it. If you're looking to take up a sport that's accessible, fast-paced and physically rewarding, then why not take up floorball? You might be surprised. Back to you, Alex.
Thanks a lot for that, Will. Maybe if you guys had played in goals this size, you would have actually had a chance of scoring. Now, when you think of croquet, the first thing that comes to your head may be Alice in Wonderland. Well, our reporters were left grinning like Cheshire cats when they went to give it a try down in Dulwich. Over to our very own Queen of Hearts, Matt Ford.
Hello and welcome to sunny South London and Dulwich Sports Club, where today we'll be taking in the quintessentially English game of croquet, speaking to some of their members, maybe just having a little bit of a go ourselves.
I play golf croquet, which is, I suppose if you put it into terms, is more akin to pool, and association is more akin to snooker. In snooker you're trying to build breaks and you're using all the balls, you get extra goes and you keep going round. In pool it tends to be a bit more hit the ball, land it through the pocket and away you go. So it's a little bit more, there's lots of differences to it, but you can sit down, for instance, for an hour and a half and not play a shot in association, whereas in golf every player just plays each go in a row. You just use the peg and you play in order to that. There is a National Croquet Day, which anywhere near you that's advertising it will probably be doing a day, but otherwise most clubs are open all the time. You just got to give them a shout, find out who's local to you and come down.
Dulwich will host this month's Golf Croquet Student Championships, where participants from universities all over the country will descend on South London.
We're very lucky, we've got 3 lawns, so we're able to put that on. I mean, there aren't that many players taking part. Our own Red over there, who is a student and plays for this club, so he's getting a bit of practice in now. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be a particularly big deal, but you know, it's nice to have a few people coming down from outside the club. I mean, that's what we try and do here a lot of the time, is encourage people from anywhere to come here and see this club, because we think one of the reasons I got involved in croquet at the very beginning was less about the play and more about the fact it's incredibly social. It's got a reputation for being old, I'll give it that much. I think you'll have seen, if you look back in the press, it was about 3 or 4 years ago, Pims did a campaign and it was all about croquet's dying, there's no one coming through, which I got to believe is utter nonsense. If we look at some of the people who are right up there at the top of the tree, they're a lot younger. Yes, it's played by a lot of retired people because it's a nice thing to come and play like bowls and all the rest of it, but there are a lot of young people involved.
We spoke to David Vickery before having a go ourselves, and one thing is for sure, it's not as easy as it looks.
I'm actually a voiceover artist and I have a studio at home, and I just thought I need to get out and see people and do something that's a little bit more interesting. And so I actually joined Sydenham, which is another croquet club which is close to where I am. And that's just got 1 lawn, but very quickly I discovered that there are international players here, 3 lawns, and so it's actually a much better experience. The best thing is just find out if there is a club near you and just go along. It's as simple as that. Croquet is one of those sports that a lot of people don't think of until later in life. It has this reputation for being an old person's sport, but in fact there are a lot of young people who do play, and they would be welcomed with open arms. I think it's not just about what goes on the lawn, it's about afterwards, you know, there's a bar and it's well used, let's say.
While Guy acknowledged the sport's reputation for attracting older players, it perhaps also suffers from a middle and upper class stigma. However, David does not think that is an issue.
It's not very expensive in terms of an annual cost. You know, it probably costs about £4 a week to play, and you can play 3 or 4 times a week. So if you look at it that way, it's not that expensive. It's a good game and it's great socially.
So that then was the basics of golf croquet, and many thanks to the members at Dulwich Sports Club for showing us the ropes. It was a lot of fun to be out there, and if you've been inspired by watching us struggle around the lawn or even fancy hitting a few hoops of your own, why not head down to your local croquet club and get involved, because as we've heard from the guys behind us, it really is a fun and inclusive sport.
Thanks Matt, but don't give up the day job, eh? Now, I'm standing outside Twickenham, one of the most iconic sporting venues in the country. And another spot iconic in the capital is Hyde Park, a beautiful place to, I don't know, have a picnic, meet with friends, go for a stroll, go roller skiing. Wait, roller skiing, is that right? I'm confused. Yashas, Mudumbai, tell us more.
You may have seen many types of exercise at Hyde Park, such as cycling, running, or even walking with friends. But have you ever seen roller skiing? Roller skiing is a mix between rollerblading and cross-country skiing. Many people get into this form of exercise because they want to get fit, gain some strength, or even prepare for the winter months when actual cross-country skiing takes place. We're here with London Cross Country Ski Club to find out more about the sport and why people get involved.
So the club actually started up in around 2005, and it gives people an aim of training in the, well, we don't have snow for cross-country races in the winter, for different marathons and events like that. What's unique about this sport is that we are training for on-snow events, different marathons, stuff like that, but we're training on roller skis on the tarmac. So the movement is very similar, but it's also a different feeling at the same time because you're on snow in the winter and on tarmac in the summer months. Most of our members come from a skiing background, whether that be downhill skiing or from cross-country skiing. We have a broad range of different nationalities in the club as well. Likewise, we also have members who actually haven't done anything on snow and they just come purely for the roller skiing. We do get a lot of people and get a lot of interest from just being out here in the park. People we whiz past and people are like, whoa, what is that? And then they kind of search online, and we're all over internet through different social media platforms too.
I heard about it through friends, and I love cross-country skiing in proper snow, and I wanted to keep my fitness up. And I also am a classic skier, but I wanted to learn how to skate on skis, and then running a course, so I signed up. And here I am 7 years later. It's just been fun. Everyone's been very friendly, and we have a laugh, and we get some good exercise in, I suppose, as well.
Crunching down, stomach muscles, crunching them down, everything up.
The sport has been around for 5 decades, and before I took part, Jordan had some words of advice.
I would say first things first, you need to relax and enjoy it because you're here to have fun. Yes, there may be some wobbles, but it's all part of the territory. Just relax, bend your knees, and everything will be fine.
So like an enthusiastic kid, I put on the equipment feeling ready to be a skier like Lindsey Vonn, but instead it turned out to be a bit of a nightmare. Balancing was the toughest aspect of roller skiing, and every time I forgot to bend my knees, my legs were ready to give way and I prepared myself for a tumble on the tarmac. It was a lot harder than expected. It was really hard to keep your balance, especially with 2 skis. That's why I went with 1 ski in the end. I fell down twice, which was great. And also I had a cut to my hand, which was fantastic, so that was really good. But overall, I thought I improved by the end of the session because I'd learned how to balance and how to use my knees to move forward. So overall, it was a really enthralling session and something that I really learned from. And hopefully, you guys can come down to Hyde Park next Tuesday and find out for yourselves. Yashas Mudumbai for SWLondoner.
Thanks for that, Yash, and I hope you recover from those horrific looking injuries. Unfortunately, that's all we have time for today. Thank you for watching. What a fun time we've had. You enjoyed a whole stream of sports, and I hope it's been riveting. Thanks again, and remember, stay oddballs.